This is from the EIZOC Secretariat, Dr. Swaraj Bhattacharya, General Secretary of the EIZOC. I welcome everybody to this meeting. This is our endeavor to motivate the PG students to how to write a good thesis and how to do a PubMed research. This is our topic today. And we had with us our mentor, Dr. Chaitra, and our Chairman Scientific Committee, Sabyasachi, our President, and our advisor also this day, Dr. Ajit Babu Maji, the Chief Coordinator being Dr. BNR Subudhi, and the Co-Coordinator, Dr. Santosh Mahapatra. This time we think we will have a very nice session, and we have galaxy of moderators and panelists who will discuss about all the points, and we had young discussants, PG students spread all over the India. And now I over to Dr. Sabyasachi Patnaik for continuing of the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your welcome address. I welcome all of you for this ORPI program. So today we are going to discuss how to do literature search, mostly how to do PubMed search. There are many search engines, but mostly it is recommended that we should use PubMed. So it is very important. We must know how to do PubMed search to get our article of interest, particularly for literature search for our references. Now we are happy to have Dr. Basmati Sriganesh today with us. Now without much delay, I request Professor BNR Subudhi, the coordinator of this program, to start the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Scientific Committee, respected Secretary EIZOC. President EIZOC has not joined and will be joining shortly. So I welcome you all on behalf of the EIZOC ORPI program. All the speakers, panelists, moderators, and the discussions to this nice Series 4 program, how to do a PubMed research, when none other than Mrs. Basmati Sriganesh, who has already had one session with us long time back, and will be again, once again, will be listening to her. So today our advisor, Dr. Ajit Babu Maji, may not be joining us, some personal work, he could not join. And our mentor, Dr. Chaitra, is already with us always. Last, I think, so many months and so many programs he was with us. So thank you, Dr. Chaitra, with us as a mentor for this program. Of course, our EIZOC team, Chairman Scientific Committee, President EIZOC, and Secretary EIZOC, they're all with us always. And today's speaker is none other than Mrs. Basmati Sriganesh. And we have heard her in the month of, I think, September 2000, during the COVID times. She's a really very good prolific speaker. And to introduce her to the audience, she's a founder and CEO of pubmed Knowledge Foundation, Mumbai. She's a librarian by training and has worked in 2 medical libraries in 1990s. She registered a trust, pubmed Knowledge Foundation, 2007. The foundation's mission is to ensure that everyone in the health sciences professions know how to search online and save all results correctly and cite the reference correctly. This is an important mission. He has conducted over 240 workshops on searching the literature and reference management. She has also delivered around 470 plus short lectures at research methodology conferences and CMEs. pubmed now offers a blended learning approach by offering self-paced e-learning out courses as well as workshops and webinars. In addition to many individuals, several institutions in like AIMS and ICMR centers have subscribed to these courses. She has also assisted authors of systemic reviews for in-depth literature searching and referencing, and to some of the her recognitions as a speaker by the WHS and MMC, a trainer by international bodies in India like Heimer, Becker, and the Union, a member by the Academy of Health Professions Education, widely recognized, and such a learned person we are having today and I think our residents will definitely benefited by her talk. So I requested to speak, in a simple way, how to set your topic. So I welcome you all, madam, to this program. And today's moderator being Dr. Kapula Mahana from AIMS, Delhi. As you know, he is one amongst us and really a great person. I've seen recently. He is in the Associated Delhi Ophthalmic Society, both DOS journals and also DOS Times. And Dr. Subhranshu Sengupta is presently working as a consultant at CFS Kolkata. Formerly was a consultant at the BBI Foundation and is also medical superintendent. I look forward to his comments at the end of this session. And of course, Dr. Natasha Das is again another prolific speaker and a prolific research person from our state only. Of course, she's based in Delhi. She has got her own consultancy, EIZOC consultancy. She is also with us since a long time in our all ORPI programs. Today's panelists being Dr. Rupak Rai from Sarkanekala, Kolkata, Dr. Arvind Roy from Elpasad, Vijayawada, and Dr. Sharmishta Behra from Bimsar, Burla. So these are the panelists today we have. And of course, our young postgraduates who will be benefited not only for themselves but also for their friends. So they are Dr. R.P. Biswal, Dr. Priyanka Janna, Dr. Aishwarya Bhatta, Dr. Vishal Prakash, Dr. Smrutilekha Sahu, Dr. Jenixon, Dr. Abhishek Kumar Sinha, Dr. Sajia Tabasum. They're all pan EIZOC states, I would say, postgraduate students from different institutions of the EIZOC states. So I welcome you all to this program. A really wonderful session we have today for another 1 to 1.5 hours. Without much wasting time, I welcome all the panelists, speakers, viewers, everybody to this our ORPI program in the session 4th. So thank you very much for joining with us today and all the viewers also. So now it's over to Dr. Chaitra for her comments. Before Dr. Priyanka Janna have a small, she will share her presentation and topic, and after that it will go over to Mrs. Basumati Sri Ganesh. So it's over to Dr. Chaitra.
Thank you, sir, and good to be back here with all of y'all. And a pleasure to be listening to Dr. Basumati again. We go many, many years back. I think I can say I've grown up learning from her in the world of publication. So my first exposure to learning how to search on PubMed is from Mrs. Basumati. And the nicest thing about her is she's so approachable. Over the years, I've been asked to speak on the topic, and she's always shared her slides, with me so that I can present it, and of course, with due acknowledgement. So she's really, really a nice person. I think all of us are going to learn a lot from her today. Over to you, Dr. Basumati. And thanks so much for doing this. I think we have one more session before. So do we have another speaker before?
Yes. Sir, you are muted, sir.
Sir, you're muted, sir. We cannot hear you. Yeah.
I think, yeah. Probably Dr. Priyanka has not joined. I think I'm not seeing her face or the name also in this list. So she was supposed to. Are you there, Dr. Priyanka?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Your name is not showing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Come with the video. Please come with the video and present your case.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
May I request all of you to come with the video?
Good evening. Am I audible, sir?
You are audible, but it's breaking.
You have network problem.
I get the network problems.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, speak now.
Yes, sir.
Please share your screen.
Yes, sir. Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And make it full screen.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it now full screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes, sir. Good evening, one and all. Now, this literature search is one of the pivotal steps, not only for writing thesis and synopsis, but also during research and for references and for knowing past and present researches, recent updates, and also about the ongoing trials. Now, they give a major data about the systematic reviews and the meta-analysis, which provide evidence based on which clinical guidelines can be laid out. Now, the sources for this literature search are, there are many various databases. PubMed is one of them. Now, what is PubMed exactly? So it's an index to various articles which are published in various journals. So it's like an index. It doesn't contain the full text and the references of those articles. And also it provides the links to the publisher websites. Now, I will briefly describe here how I did my literature search using my research question. So my research question was outcome of intravitreal anti-VEGF treatment in retinopathy of prematurity. So for this, this is the homepage of PubMed. Here, when I first opened it, and I randomly typed my entire research question here. Then I get something like this. It showed many articles, but it was random. Like the term retinopathy of prematurity was in the title in few articles. It was in the abstract in few articles. Anti-VEGF was in the few titles, and it was in few abstracts. So it was a very irrelevant kind, means more irrelevant, very few relevant. And I thought it was a little bit wastage of time for me. So then I came to know about this special feature of PubMed, which is tagging. So in tagging, what we do, we search this, we mark out our search or keywords, then we put a tag or this, for suppose I want both of my search words like prematurity, retinopathy and anti-VEGF in the title. So I tagged them with TI in the brackets, and the result came out something like this, very precise, and both the terms were included in the title. So by this, I got more relevant articles which I could refer for my synopsis. This was how I arrived at one of the articles. It's in here, the title is given, then the abstract is given, when it was published, and a link or a link to the publisher's website is given. And then this one of this article, it was in the Cochrane library. It was a free article, so I could approach it and I could see the entire article starting from the abstract, from the introduction to the result, conclusion, and other reference articles also. So in this way, this method or the specialty of PubMed helped me to search or to find related to my research question. So another property of this PubMed I came to know is this Boolean operators, which are and, or, and not, all in capital letters. So when we combine the two terms with and,
Lost connection. You stop your video.
Okay.
I guess I lost connection, sir.
No, okay. So now you share the screen again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Share the screen and stop your video because network, you have a network issue.
Yes. Now I'll start from where I left. It's then when I use this Boolean operator, that there's the or, then I got more number of results, because these the articles which showed both the terms, either retinopathy of prematurity or anti-VEGF in the articles. So I got comparatively large number of articles compared when I used and between both the terms. Now, these are advantages. In this side panel, they are given the review, abstract, whatever we want to exactly know about the article. Suppose I want to know about the review articles done on my research topic, so I can check this box, and accordingly these articles will be displayed. And that's how it was useful for review literature. So I came to know about all the analysis which has been done on the previous studies, so which was helpful in knowing the research gap. So another is the abstract. If I want to know the abstract of this particular article, I can check on this box. Then another very good feature about PubMed is this MESH database. MESH, it stands for the medical subject heading. So basically it is a database. It contains multiple number of medical headings which are covered in a particular article. So we can actually directly know that if the heading or the word of choice is contained in the article or not. Then we can actually go to the database and click on MESH, and this home page of MESH will appear. Or what we can do is write our words, the word of our choice, and write MESH in, or tag MESH in. That's how also we can approach. And this is another approach how to go for this MESH search. So after typing a required topic, we can.
Excuse me for interrupting. Your voice is breaking, so maybe you could switch off your video so that you could save on some data and
okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You can continue and then switch off the video in. Yeah. Continue talking.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
At the bottom, there's a stop video option where you see a camera like icon. Just click on that icon, the video will stop. Bottom left corner.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, it's the last slide, Joe. I'll just wrap it up.
Okay, sure.
I'm unable to find. So the last thing for me, the PubMed, from what I learned from PubMed, was about this citation. So when I took references from these articles, when I wrote my synopsis, I wanted to give the references or cite these references. So for this also, it was a good choice. So I just had to click on the site, then I had to copy this thing and paste it on my document. So in this way, PubMed has helped me to explore many and to get to the right article without getting sidetracked or completely lost in the mesh of articles which are not relevant to my topic. I guess after this webinar, I will be able to explore more things which I don't know yet regarding PubMed. Thank you.
Any comments on this? So, Dr. Subhranshu, are you there? Dr. Subhranshu.
Yeah, I'm there. So, sir, we can go on to ma'am's talk, and then we can discuss.
Okay.
In totality.
Sure. Right.
Can I start?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
Could you just confirm that my screen is visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right. So, Dr. Priyanka, thank you for sharing your attempts with us. You've learned a lot of correct things. But if I may be permitted to say so, in a way, it is like how, I'm not a doctor, and if I experiment with medicines to see what works and what doesn't, it's very similar to that. and it is not your fault that you just experimented. Anyway, I think I'll tell you what our foundation thinks about all this in a minute. So this is the topic for today. And I'll start with thanking the ORPI, EIZOC ORPI for inviting me once again. I'm happy to share whatever knowledge I have. So this is my brief biodata. The only change being that now I've done 500 plus lectures compared to what I sent, which was a slightly older version. Yeah, just a little about our foundation. So I set this up nearly 15 years ago, and with a team, I'm doing a lot of offering of training. And the reason being, over several years as a librarian, I found that literature searching and referencing are just not taught in a structured manner as a medical degree with anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, then the clinical subjects, and so on. Because you can't jump into clinical subjects without the preclinical and in that order. We need a very big change in the way literature search and referencing are taught. And I strongly believe, and it's been reinforced a million times, that this needs to be started at the UG level so that at the PG time, it is not a burden. The thesis is done quicker and more simply without all the experimentation that happens. So that's the purpose of our foundation. The topic, structured PubMed search, is what I would like to call it. And coincidentally, I've also chosen retinopathy as the main topic. So that's a bit of a happy coincidence. Okay. So before searching, you need to know some preliminaries. In a way, it is like before you start writing sentences, you need to know ABCD. It's something like that. Now, what is this? I think everybody can recognize. It is the index that is found at the end of a book. So if I search for the word abortion, I know it comes on page 468. If I search the phrase abortion rate, it comes on page 452. Right? So we get to know the page number in the book where the word or phrase appears. Now this index is obviously compiled once the book is all ready. Some expert compiles it, but would they put every page where the word abortion just comes in? No. On 468, there's some solid coverage about abortion, and that's why if they start putting in every single word, the index will be as long as the book or longer than that. So that's for a book. Journal indexes, this generation may not know, but my generation of doctors would be aware that before the computers and internet came in, print issues had indexes at different frequencies. And there was the Index Medicus, which was a print index to a lot of journals. That was the precursor to PubMed. Let's talk about today's Zamana. PubMed is a popular journal index. When we search PubMed, we search across a very large number of journals. We search using one or more words or phrases. Now, suppose if the results had only page numbers like the books had, what happens? So let's say I search diabetic retinopathy and we just get page numbers. Will that help at all? Obviously it won't, because we are covering so many journals, so many years. So if we search it in PubMed today, we get results which are something like this, where for every result, we have a title, the author area, and the full details about the journal, and a PMID, which is a unique number for this particular article. That way, there are more details about an article, but for now, we'll stick to this. So we get to know the article, title, author, journal details. These details together are called bibliographic details of a journal article. PubMed is an index to 50,000 plus journals. And if we take this link and open it, we see there are a big list. There is a big list of more than 50,000 journals. Do we get full text in PubMed? No. What happens is you see something like this. We get to know that this one is available free. We need to click the title, and then, as Dr. Priyanka showed, to can see the link to the article either on the journal website, or in this case, it is in PubMed Central, which is an archive where journals deposit a duplicate copy of the article. While searching, it's very important to know some things. The first thing being, the search results contain our search terms. Dr. Priyanka showed how when she first just put in the words of her topic, she got a lot of junk. So let's understand why you get the junk. So suppose I just search the word retinopathy. You get a lot of results which are about retinopathy, sure. But one of the results may be something like this, where the article is about antimalarials. In this part of the abstract, there is the word retinopathy just mentioned. It's about the side effects or something like that and causing retinopathy. That's what is there. The article is not about retinopathy. Still more interesting, we were talking about the word being in the title. See these examples. The word is very much in the title, but they actually clearly tell us these articles are excluding retinopathy, except for diabetic retinopathy. So even if it is in the title, there's no guarantee it is about it. So this is something we've got to remember. So contains is not equal to about. Just because the word is there, that's no guarantee it is about. Searching using tags. So let's take this record in PubMed. We know that this is the title area, author area, all details of the journal. So some simple tags. If I search retinopathy TI, this would come under my many results. If I search Cheng N author, I would get this and all other articles written by this author. Lancet JOUR, I would get this one plus all articles in the journal Lancet. These are some preliminary tags that can be used. So these tags tell the search engine where your word should appear. We can specify where the word should appear. We are telling the search engine. If we want articles about diabetic retinopathy, we tag the term with mesh. What happens when we do that? Mesh, as she just mentioned, is medical subject headings. Let's take this record in PubMed. The title just says diagnostic and therapeutic challenges. What disease, what condition? No clue. There's no abstract. We click the title and came here. There's no abstract. If we scroll down the page, we will see what is called mesh terms, a heading called mesh terms. And we see so many headings here. And these standardized keywords in this area describe the complete article. So we also have diabetic retinopathy, the different aspects of it, diagnosis, drug therapy, physiopathology. Now, I will be soon talking about standardized, why they are standardized, just in a brief way. Now, tagging a term with mesh, as I said, if we do diabetic retinopathy tagged with mesh, we are telling the search engine diabetic retinopathy should be present in this area, list of mesh terms, and that's why it is here. So tagging is all about instructing the search engine which area of the bibliographic record should our term appear. One word of caution, don't just put any medical or non-medical term and tag it with mesh. It should be there in the mesh database, which is a thesaurus. We earlier saw that and we'll be seeing it again. A link is available on the PubMed homepage. So you have to see if your search term is a standard mesh term. In a way, it is like we can't really use a Hindi word in an English essay because that Hindi word will not be in a English dictionary. Very strictly. Of course, if you're writing fiction and all that, there are exceptions like that. Same way, you can't search for a term if it is not in the mesh database. So this is the PubMed homepage, and this is where you will find the mesh database. If you click that link, mesh database, this is where we are. And we'll learn soon how to search it. Very quickly, some more tags. Other general tags. If we use TI, PubMed search engine will look for this word retina in the title. TIAB means title and also the abstract. So if I get 100 by searching TI, I'll get probably 130 or 170 searching TIAB. JOUR, articles from the journal Retina. AU, if there's any author with the surname Retina, we'll get that. AD means author's address. Institute of Retina and Glaucoma related diseases, something like that. That's what we'll get. Retina mesh, we just learned. If you just put the keyword, it is searching all these areas, but the search engine does not search the full article because the article is in the journal website or PubMed Central. It is searching only the bibliographic details and mesh. Numbers can also be tagged. If you want an article on page 143, you type 143 page. You want in specific years, 2016, PDAT means publication date. Alternatively, you can say DP, which is date of publication. Both of them are the same. It means year of publication. So these are some of the most frequent tags, but there are very advanced tags for which you have to learn advanced PubMed searching. So remember, the tags in PubMed have to be put in square brackets. Any structured database, there are tags. You have to go to their homepage, see how the tags are, whether they must be put in square brackets or round brackets or with a colon, all those instructions you'll have to look. But any such database has tags. So TI, mesh, all this has to be in square brackets. How do we combine two or more search terms? Dr. Priyanka mentioned Boolean operators. Let's understand exactly how it works, because I noticed that she made one Boolean operator mistake in her search. And it's a very, very common mistake, so nobody needs to feel bad about it. As I said, this has to be taught early so that it settles well in the head, and it has to be practiced very regularly. Even people who have done my workshops occasionally make mistakes like that. And then when I point it out, they say, oh my God. But that's, to err is human, right? Yeah. So suppose I have this empty cupboard and I fill it with books on cataract. How many do I have here? 3. Another empty cupboard, I fill it with books on glaucoma. I have 4. Now, if I go to the library where this is and say to the librarian, I want books on cataract and glaucoma, how many will the person give me? All of them together. But when you're searching PubMed, cataract and glaucoma mean something else. I would get only one result. Why? This one book discusses cataract and glaucoma together. This library was rich enough to have one copy in each of the cupboards. So that somebody searching cataract got this, somebody searching glaucoma. But cataract and glaucoma in a PubMed search means only this one. Imagine if it were an article. This is a common mistake. People believe cataract and glaucoma means everything. So and means both words together. Cataract or glaucoma, all the cataract books, all the glaucoma books. But this one was there in both. We don't want to read the same book twice. So we remove one of them. We get total of 6, which is 3 plus the 4 minus 1. Same thing happens in PubMed. I'll be showing that as well. Cataract, not glaucoma. This would be the cataract cupboard books. Remove the glaucoma. But realize we will miss some information on cataract for it. So if we search PubMed and use not, we have to remember that by removing that glaucoma, we'll also miss some cataract information. So usually not is not used with diseases and all that. It's used to remove certain sets when we do advanced searching. So this would be 3 minus 1, 2. So let's see examples in PubMed. Suppose I search cataract alone and got 515. You might wonder why I got so little. I limited it to articles that have appeared in the last 2 months, just so that I get small results. I search glaucoma alone, 659. When I search cataract and glaucoma, both have to be together in every result. So this is a smaller result. It will be even smaller than this. We got 123. Cataract or glaucoma, both together minus the 123. 515, 659 together. The 123 is there in both these sets. So one set of 123 is removed. We got 1051. Cataract, not glaucoma, cannot be 515 minus 659. It will be 515 minus this 123. In this cataract set, remove the glaucoma. So I hope this is very, very clear. Only thing that is required is this has to be revised on a more or less daily basis. I happen to be attending another workshop where the mentor said, whatever you learn, you must revise it by next day, otherwise you forget 40%. And if you don't revise it within the week, you forget 90%. Quite scary, right? So please do revise this immediately. So remember, and, or, and not are called Boolean operators. They must be typed in capitals when you search, not small. Now, searching from the mesh database, let's learn a bit. So I go to the mesh database. I want to find articles about spectacles. So I'm putting in spectacles, clicking search. I'm told that the mesh term is eyeglasses. Just below that, there's a small paragraph. If we read that, it says, a pair of ophthalmic lenses in a frame or mounting, which is supported by the nose and ears, perfect. The purpose of this pair of lenses is to aid or improve vision. It does not include goggles or non-prescription sunglasses, for which the mesh term is eye protective devices. So choose the correct one depending on what your topic is. Not every mesh term has this kind of specificities, but sometimes you have more specific mesh terms, less specific mesh terms. We've got to learn how to understand the mesh database in great detail. There's a lot to learn on the mesh database, right? But this is the very basic. Now, if you want to find articles about this, we click Add to Search Builder. When we click this button, the system will put in eyeglasses mesh. Then if we click Search PubMed, we are taken back to PubMed as if we have typed eyeglasses mesh and you get articles about eyeglasses. Let's do a topic search from the mesh database. Antioxidants for glaucoma, as well as antioxidants for cataract. That is, you want antioxidants used in glaucoma and antioxidants used in cataract. For this, you have to plan your search as glaucoma or cataract and antioxidants, because you want to you want the PubMed search engine to first pull out all items which have both, which have either glaucoma or cataract or both, put them together. Then when it sees and antioxidants, it understands that antioxidants should come inside this set. This is a very clear search query. How do we do the search? In the mesh database, first type the word glaucoma, click search. Glaucoma is a mesh term, so we are selecting it. Add to search builder. It puts in glaucoma mesh. At this point, we don't click search PubMed. We type cataract, search, select cataract. We had framed our query as glaucoma or cataract. So we change this and to or. Add to search builder, glaucoma mesh or cataract mesh. Now type antioxidants, search, select it. This time we don't need to change the Boolean operator. Just click add to search builder. It puts in and antioxidants mesh. Click search PubMed. and we've got some 614 results. Now, in the search box, if you just type antioxidants for glaucoma and cataract, 159, and they are missing a huge number. Sometimes it's the other way around. You get huge numbers with a word search, but the more refined ones with mesh. But here, please notice, we would have missed a lot of them. We had 614 with a mesh search, only 159 here. Evidence-based articles. I've done a search, cataract mesh and glaucoma mesh. In the left side, filters. There are lots more filters. There's a detailed way of understanding how you should use filters. But again, right now, for just introducing it, we could select one or more filters. Ideally, if you want evidence-based, you could click clinical trial, meta-analysis, systematic review, randomized control trial. We don't want plain review articles. Plain review articles are not evidence. So we choose these. There are still lots more which we can get onto this site and use. But again, that's something that has to be learned. Yet another way of getting evidence-based articles is on the home page. If you scroll down, the way we saw mesh, there's another link called clinical queries. If you click that, you get a page like this where you could put something like this, glaucoma and pilocarpine. By default, it will say therapy, category, scope, broad. You could change therapy to diagnosis or etiology, whatever you're searching. Broad means you'll get a lot of results. Narrow means more focused results. So this part of searching PubMed will eliminate letters to the editor, review articles, case reports, all those, and get you only clinical evidence-based articles. Not necessarily only evidence, but very clinical articles. One more feature is if you have an incomplete citation. This can happen when you're viewing somebody else's presentation and they have written an incomplete thing, or many other times we ourselves may write it in a hurry and it's not complete, but when we want to cite it, we don't have the complete citation. What do we do then? Again, in the homepage, if you scroll down, there is a link called Single Citation Matcher. Suppose we have this incomplete citation, Lacra S, silicone oil, 2020. What do we do? That single citation matcher, if we click, we get a screen like this. So we put Lacra S in author, silicone oil in title words, 2022 in year, click search, and we get this one thing. Because what we are doing is Lacra S author and silicone oil title and 2022 PDAT. So all three conditions together, this is the one that has come. And if we want to now use this, we have read this and we want to cite it, we click cite and we can copy it from here, paste it and edit it according to the correct format. So recap, PubMed is an index to more than 50,000 journals. A word search can get very irrelevant results. Mesh tag search is the key to get most relevant results about topics. However, that may not be complete, but again, that requires more detailed learning. General tag search, we learned AUTI, etc. So that's all in context. We want articles by somebody, we want articles from a specific institution, etc. Those are all context-driven searches. Tags must be in square brackets. Combining terms and or not, all in capitals. We learned very simple combinations. Sometimes you might want to combine 6 terms with different Boolean operators. That has to be planned and done carefully. Evidence-based results, filters and clinical queries, those options. Single citation matcher for verifying incomplete references. Very quickly, a little about our online courses to learn more. The website is pubmedcourses.in. 2 courses are free. This is information resources and literature searching. We make a discussion about different kinds of information resources available in medicine. literature searching, the tips that I taught in some more detail. Introduction to referencing. What should you reference? What do you not need to reference? What are the different styles, etc. And then on fully enrolling and giving us a donation, you get a very detailed course on PubMed, very, very detailed. 120 minutes is compulsory if you want a certificate. Optional, another 105 minutes for advanced searching. Reference management with Mendeley. And here is a big set of different resources around the world. We have classified them and made them available. These courses, you can do the most specific video sets and get a badge for having learned the skill. Let's say mesh, we have 9 lessons. You can get a badge saying you've understood mesh thoroughly. You can get a badge saying you've understood the advanced search page very thoroughly. But if you complete the whole course, then you get a full certificate. And yes, this is available in mobile devices as well. We give you instructions on how to install the app and add a URL by which the same courses can be used on a mobile as well. So these are my contact details if you need to get in touch, and time permitting, any questions, I'd be happy to take. Valuable details. Yes, that's very true. And in fact, it's not age that has slowed. It is the fact that our system hasn't taught the most important skills here, the structured method of searching. And that is why we made these online courses. Everybody across India, anywhere in the world can do them. People who've gone from here abroad and are struggling, they also find it useful.
Okay.
That was very, very useful, ma'am.
Thank you.
Most of the times we are in a hurry, and especially when we have to pay for certain, like in survey of ophthalmology, we need to subscribe at least for a month or a year to be able to visualize the articles. So in those cases, we waste a lot of time in searches. So this is how it's going to help us.
Yes. Also, searching is to see how much literature is available on a topic, irrespective of whether the articles are free or not. How to get articles is a completely different topic. A literature search is for making sure how much is there. But there's a lot more to learn. Now, for example, in PubMed, about 20 to 30% of literature is not indexed with mesh. If you're doing a systematic review, a mesh search alone does not help. You have to include TIAB searches. And if you do TIAB, you have to think of all possible synonyms. So the learning goes on and on. And that is where, if through our videos, one learns at least the essential things, that makes a big difference. Thank you, Dr. Arvind. So I would request all of you to check out that website. The 2 free courses are there. They give you an idea of how the courses are staged and put. And then, recommend them to teaching institutions, recommend them to others. And we ask individuals for a donation of 2,000, for which they not only have access to all that for 1 whole year, they can ask us for help anytime they're stuck with something. So in a way, it's like a partnership with a lot of help. And institutions, we give it at a much lower rate, much lower meaning the full institution gets it at a rate where per head it comes to very low. We really want a lot of institutions to take access to it.
So now it's over to Dr. Subhranshu. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So
we'll continue.
It was wonderful listening to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Actually, we all, like all the others, we all learned a lot. So if I'm not mistaken, like there are 2 areas where we go for the PubMed searching. One is, suppose there's an idea in our mind, we want to build up on it. that is one point when we do these PubMed searches. And then secondly, of course, when we have, framed something, now we need to build up on the discussions and all. That is the second time that we. And ma'am, if I'm not wrong, then we can have an account in PubMed also, the free account, wherein all our searches will get stored.
Yes.
So that no matter where you are working, on which device you are working, once you have all the searches that you have looked into stored for you, you can just go ahead and see what, and then accordingly collect the
Those are features. Those are features.
Absolutely.
Many people discover features, but what they don't know is exactly how the and or not works.
Absolutely, ma'am.
That is where we are doing that. Of course, in our courses, we teach everything, the features and the theoretical knowledge. But you're right, we can do all that if you have your own.
So among the panelists, Dr. Rupak Roy, we would like to hear something from you. Maybe Dr. Aishwarya, I can see you're here. If you have any queries, the discussions, if they want to discuss anything, the panel is open to taking discussion. Ma'am is also here. Dr. Roy?
Yeah, so madam, very nice presentation. I really liked it. So could you just tell us more about non-PubMed searches, like the other search engines that we have, like Google Scholar and Embase? Could you just briefly touch upon them?
So Google Scholar is a search engine. So in a way, it's a database, but of all scholarly items in all subjects. So they cannot have a mesh, and the combinations are very restricted. So the features become very limited. But the advantage of Google Scholar is if a word or phrase, let's say when you're searching rare diseases, if you're searching hypertension, diabetes, PubMed will throw up any number for you. But if you're searching a rare disease, if it is not in the full text, if it's only in the full text of the article, you will not find it in PubMed, whereas you will find it through Google Scholar. So those kind of advantages are there in Google Scholar. Google Scholar also links to the article if somebody has stored it in some institutional repository or some other archive. PubMed links only to the journal website and the PMC. So, and some institutional repositories, it's limited. So if you start comparing, there are advantages and disadvantages of both. Embase is a bibliographic resource like PubMed is. It is all the PubMed journals, okay, I would say all what are called Medline journals, that is the mesh indexed journals, plus a lot more European journals. Embase has a different thesaurus called M3. The way to search, same principles apply, but the commands may be different. So like this, there are different databases. Each one you need to know the scope, what it covers, what it doesn't, how those tags are used. Boolean operators are very similar, but some places there are more Boolean operators like near, next, etc. Like Cochrane library allows you to search one word near another, one word next to another. So one has to learn all those as it goes.
Wonderful, madam. Thank you for touching in all these things.
I had one more question here, if I could just answer that. For an institution, for a medical college, it is 60,000. For we have different categories, and those details are there. If from the courses website, if you go to about the courses, you'll find a page with all those details. You can write to me in case you need something specific. I won't take up more time on
that. Could we hear from Dr. Roy? Dr. Arvind Roy? Could you just share your views?
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind invitation and excellent talk, lot of learning. And sometimes what happens is that we always forget the basics, and that's when we have to return to when we are really in the need. And I also feel that this is not only relevant for the residents who are in the search for literature for their academic purposes, but also it is very useful, especially the mesh and or terms, for all of us who regularly review articles. because when we review articles, a lot of parallel reading is needed on that subject. Many a times there's also a duplication. So all these specific search words will help us easily rule out all the important literature that is there, and PubMed covers all the important literature medically, as opposed to the other databases, say for example Scopus. And also PubMed also links to the other databases, such as the one that like Scopus, like Embase, as somebody mentioned, and things like that. So I think then Cochrane reviews are again something which is very much in turn with the PubMed. So that's one very huge bonus for PubMed, because that gives us a parallel link to the other ecosystems for medical databases. So because it is such a huge thing, a specified search will save you a lot of time when one has to review important literature. In fact, I'm sure Madam will be covering it in her detailed search. There are other ways of searching as well. Like there are filters which will give you only the reviews. There are filters that will give you only the last 5-year literature and not more than that. So there are different layers as you play around with the software. PubMed is earlier used to be little slower, meaning that if you miss one comma, one alphabet, then you might end up not getting the searches. But now it's a very sensitive search engine. In fact, if you just copy paste with all the semicolon and odd punctuations, PubMed will still yield you a lot of search. And not only that, with each article, if you just open the abstract, below that also a lot of parallel articles are cited, which shows how many other articles have cited this, and what is the year of publication of those articles. So a lot of flexibility. I would highly recommend those who are in academic pursuits to understand and learn more about this very important tool that we have access to. Thank you very much.
May I ask the House regarding, one important aspect when we are publishing, and although it's not directly related to PubMed searches, is plagiarism and the plagiarism checks that we have to do. I understand there are softwares which are available professionally for plagiarism stuff. Ma'am, what would your take be on this plagiarism checks, and how do you go about the same?
That's an area. I mean, while I know a lot about plagiarism, but not about the checkers and all that, maybe Dr. Chaitra would answer it better.
Yeah, there are quite a few softwares online itself, but most of the free ones limited to a certain number of words. So you can't really, though they advertise as being free sources, most of them will only restrict it to a paragraph or two. So it is difficult, and only the paid ones will be able to do the whole of it. You can't do the whole document in most of these free ones, or the quality is not good. But I must add, other than the search itself that Mrs. Vasumati spoke so well about, some of the other tools that she mentioned about single citation matcher and all that are extremely helpful as well. The citations, how to use them to quote, they're all extremely useful, especially for somebody who doesn't use an endnote or something like that. It's very useful, because the kind of way you want your citation, you can do it manually. If you don't have access, or if you're not comfortable using a reference manager, they are very useful tools. And even the single citation matcher, so many times, we read in a textbook, they don't give the full reference. Just to put the author's name and a couple of keywords is useful again. So especially when we need to write papers or textbooks, extremely helpful.
Wonderful talk, Vasmati. Like you mentioned, this is just the basics. And once one starts exploring, there's a lot to know from PubMed, right? In the abstract view itself, there are so many other links. You'll find the full text links. You'll find the site link where you know how to cite it. And you can also add it to your favorites. Like you want to come back to this article later, you can, there's a heart sign and a favorites link. So you can add a favorites link there. You can get the mesh terms for that particular article, how it is arranged in the mesh database. That is also available there. Then when you scroll further down, You can also see, like somebody mentioned, similar articles or the illustrations in that particular article, the tables, the figures, and you can just click on the particular figure and see the figure if you want to. So as you explore, you will probably get to know a lot more. So it needs practice. But what Vasumati talked about is how to do a structured search and not just go all the places and search for everything that you can think of, right? All terms, all tags that you want to put, all the Boolean operators that you want to put, forget the terminology Boolean operator. That's what I like about Basmati's presentation. She doesn't call it Boolean operators before she introduces how the words are combined. After describing about the combinations, she comes back and tells you that these are what are Boolean operators, right? Thank you so much. Any questions from anybody? Maybe you can take, any student has any questions. Sir, you're muted.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, Prafula, please.
Yeah, this is Rupak, sir.
I see.
So I have the privilege of working with a lot of young fellows and postgraduates who are part of training in my institution. And what I find that the most whenever they start on a research on a topic, say for example to write a case report or doing their thesis, a good literature search is where they stumble most. Most of the times I find they are struggling with literature search. So PubMed, as Madam told, is a wonderful tool. And if you are aware of how a proper PubMed search, that is definitely useful. But for the PGs and the fellows, I would like to tell that yes, if you are able to do a structured course on how to do a PubMed search, that is wonderful. That will help. But most of the times our education system, as Madam told correctly, we are not primed to do that. So in that case, do not forget the value of doing a simple Google search also. Many a times I have seen that I'm biting my nail trying to find something about a topic in PubMed, and I'm just struggling to find it. Probably my methodology of searching is wrong, but somehow I put it in the Google and I get something out of it. So a simple Google search is also wonderful. Another very important tip that would be for the postgraduates is, see, once you do a search, you find one or two articles, try to get access to the full text of the articles and go to the references. And from those references, you can further refine your search. I mean, these are, as Madam told, if you are a pro by doing a PubMed search, you all will get. But trust me, most of us don't know how to do PubMed search properly. So for the people, till the time they learn to do PubMed search properly, probably the tips that to follow are: do a PubMed search, try to find some articles, go through those articles, go to the references, and then in the references you will find more articles, and then again you search them. And never forget a simple Google search if you're not finding it. Yeah, these are my 2 cents.
If I could just comment on that, first thing about you're reading an article, if you find it on PubMed and you're reading it, the similar articles below will be even better than just the references. That is one. But as far as Google goes, it depends on what you're wanting. Some quick answer, yes, Google does wonders, but otherwise, I would like to caution, it's like how doctors tell us lay people, please don't depend on WhatsApp University. Everybody is taking information off WhatsApp chats and believing that is the truth. So everything has its pluses and minuses. So yes, there are times when Google gives great answers, but at least learn these very basics of PubMed and you can do a lot.
Basumati, I just wanted to
just finished. PubMed alone is not enough. There are other databases. If we are very serious about research, we need to know more than that. But Again, everything is depending on what context. So a PG thesis can be a good PubMed search and a little more and something of Google, etc. But different levels. You just want some information, you might get it off of Google or Google Scholar search. Instead of Google, Google Scholar is one step better that way. So there are different, everything comes to why you're doing that search. Then the different resources apply. Yeah.
I was just suggesting, Vasumati, that maybe you could just screen share one abstract view where once you scroll down, you can see the similar articles. That will be helpful for the.
I think it was there in the, I'll just see if it was.
It was, I think, there in one of your slides.
Yeah, one of my slides, right? Yeah, I'm just finding it. Give me a second.
Dr. Prafula, your comments?
Thank you, sir. So first of all, thank you, ma'am, for creating that NGO. It's a unique idea and you have started this. That's a great thing to start with and it will definitely help a lot of people. So I'll just summarize what ma'am said. So Google search versus PubMed. So it depends what you are looking for. You want to just improve your baseline knowledge and then you want to do subsequent research, then Google is fine. But whenever you're writing a paper, whenever you're writing a thesis, don't rely on Google because at times it's very confusing and you may give some wrong information in your paper. That is one. Second, doctor, I forgot, somebody said that you should create a account. Yes, this is a very good idea. It's a very simple procedure. In PubMed, create your own ID. So whatever search you have done, even after 2 years, so there will be database in that. So at any time you can go back and check whatever searches that you have made, or you have selected some articles. Even you can set alerts. You want some alerts like if some new article comes in CNBM, please remind me. So PubMed does that also. It will send you a reminder in your mail. These are the publication, new publication. You can check for that. That is one part. Second, what about the PubMed plus others? So it depends what kind of article you are writing. For example, till now we have published 4 papers in Survey of Ophthalmology. So in that, when you are doing a major review, you have to include all the articles like Cochrane or Embus, everything. But if you are simply writing a thesis or case report, no need to go through that much thorough because you know all the articles which are best, they will definitely be there in PubMed, except some extensive reviews which the PubMed doesn't go for, like Cochrane or Embus reviews. So that is there. And second, whatever name just presented, that was great. But if you, it's very difficult to remember everything. As ma'am said, you have to revise and revise. So the one best thing is to do is go to the PubMed page. There are frequently question FAQs and instructions. You can scroll down. There is a heading called How to Search in PubMed. It enumerates all these headings one by one. So each time you go to PubMed, please go through that once. If you go through that 5 or 10 times, then it won't be that difficult for you to understand these terms, how to do PubMed search. And lastly, there was some discussion about, I think, I forgot that discussion, but this is what I all have to say. And just to conclude, I'll just tell you one thing. One of our recent review got rejected. And the only reason for rejecting that review was the editor felt that we haven't included the article of last 1 year. So that this is how your review, review of literature is important. Because somehow we started the review, it was a major review for Survey of Ophthalmology. We started writing the review 3 years back. And by the time we completed our manuscript, 100 other articles, they were published in PubMed and we missed all those articles. So the only reason for rejecting that review was because we missed last 1 year's article. So that's how it is very important to have a very thorough and good review of literature. And for that, you must understand how to do the review. If you miss few important articles, there are chief editors who are very strict about all this thing and they may reject your paper simply based on that you have missed few articles. So literature search is very important. But start with basics, start with PubMed. As you go on writing more and more advanced articles, then you have to review all these things, Cochrane, Embassy, everything. And one more important thing, when you're writing a paper, please take your keywords seriously. Okay, this mesh terms that is there, largely depends on how the author, while publishing the article, he has selected the keywords. Okay, so if you select proper keywords, and those will be there in the mesh terms, so your article will get more citation. If you just randomly select any term, then your article won't be cited that many times. Thank you, sir.
I'll quickly do that screen share. So this is a title, Clinical Predictors of Diabetic Retinopathy Progression. So if you go below the abstract, here you have more similar articles like this. And you can click see all similar so that you get still more similar. That's the way you get similar articles. So that's where it is. One comment about the tutorials on the PubMed website. They are made with a Western audience who got a lot more basic grounding, because I believe that if that has been there since 1997, by now everybody in the country should have been an expert with that training. A lot of people have gone through them. We have made our lessons so that people in India who have not been taught many basics, a lot of the foundational stuff, all that is included. We've made sure that the videos are very short, 5 to 10 minutes. So you learn little at a time so that you're not burdened. We are aware of all the problems of time and everything that everybody has. So I'd strongly recommend everybody, please go through our site. We need the support of a lot of people joining in so that we can continue to keep costs low, if possible, even lower them as we go. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ma'am, this is actually for postgraduate students. So let us ask the residents how much they learned today. So that's the most important, So,
Yes.
So we can ask, we can discuss about Dr. Priyanka, who has presented the case. How did she present and what was her comments over that? Dr. Priyanka's presentation.
You're asking me?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm asking you.
Right. So I was happy that she had learned quite a few things, and yet I could see that some things were not learned fully. So it is that, I don't know what term to say, but, kind of skimmed the surface and not gone deep enough. I'm not saying fully deep. As I said, I observed one mistake in the Boolean operator where it should have been or she used and or the other way around, and that can just completely change the results. But in one place, she used it correctly to say that I wanted all literature about each of the two terms for writing the discussions. That was a brilliant approach. Not many people think of that. So that was something she used right. So I was quite impressed that she had done a lot of correct things. But I'd strongly recommend that she goes a little more into depth so that everything is corrected. Because just being satisfied with that many for a protocol, it was fine, getting that 41 articles or whatever. But later on for the thesis, it has to be more in depth than that. So as I keep on stressing, the purpose of your search defines how much deeper you need to go.
Any other postgraduates? Dr. Sajia, would you like to ask something? Dr. Aishwarya? You are muted. Dr.
Shazia, you're muted.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to know the difference between mesh and keywords.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Of course, both are not same, but what's
Yes.
the difference in PubMed?
Thanks for asking that. Mesh, as I showed you, is a database of structured terms. There's a group of people, experts at the National Library of Medicine in the US. They revise those terms every year, depending on number of articles available on that topic. For example, till the year roughly 1994, MRI was not a mesh term because it was something very new. After that, it became a mesh term. So till then, you just searched it as a TIAB kind of a thing. Whereas now, you search not only MRI, but the more specific MRIs like diffusion MRI, fMRI, each one is a separate term. Keywords are what the author writes. Now in India, I'm observing many journal editors are asking authors to give mesh terms as keywords. Where do they write keywords? At the end of the abstract. That's a fairly new trend in the last few years. Authors are asked to write 5 keywords that describe the article. editors are telling them write mesh terms, but no, mesh terms are already there with the, when I say already there, the NLM adds the mesh terms. Authors should actually write synonyms of it, so that if a person searches with a mesh term or a synonym, they are likely to find it. So this is something I tell people who say that we are being asked to write mesh terms as keywords. Right? Now, let's take a term like, I mean, these are examples I use often. So if we say heart attack, cardiac arrest, heart arrest, myocardial infarction, so many different ways authors can write it. The mesh term will be myocardial infarction. But if you do not want to miss any article because you're doing a systematic review, you have to search for myocardial infarction mesh or myocardial infarction TIAB or heart attack TIAB or heart arrest or cardiac arrest, etc. So the more, if people put those words in their abstract, they're more likely to be found there.
Thank you, ma'am.
One question I had here, Vasmati, if you could explain that. You said mesh terms are terms that we need to avoid adding in the keywords and allow the NLM editors to add the mesh terms as required, right? So does that mean if I have a have an article which does not use the mesh terminology, they will still index it under the same mesh term, right?
Exactly.
Maybe needed to clarify.
See, the idea why that mesh was brought into the whole thing is users need not search different keywords that authors might use. Searching mesh is enough. That was the original Medline database till 1997. After that, PubMed started adding a lot more journals in which mesh terms are not added. So depending on the reason for your search, if you want to find all available literature, you have to think of the mesh term that the indexer has given. That covers whatever the author has added. But in the non-Medline journals, you've got to think of what the author has done. Now, when in writing the keywords for your article, if you're submitting it to a mesh indexed, Medline indexed journal, mesh terms will be added. Those will be the standard terms. So it might be better that you give a alternative term. If it's something which is like diabetes, type 2 diabetes mellitus, whatever it is, they are the same. You will give the same term. So depending on what it is. But saying that you must give mesh terms is not recommended. That's what I'm trying to stress.
Yes.
I think any other questions anymore? Dr. Aarti, Dr. Smriti Lekha?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
sir.
you understood everything?
Yes, sir. It is very helpful.
Thank you. So
that using from tomorrow for any article or anything there.
Dr. Santosh, are you there?
I'm there, sir.
Your comments and the concluding remarks.
So already thorough discussion has been made. So only thing I would like to tell that the more and more I participate in this kind of discussions, I feel I know little and less. So it's always scope for improvement and to learn. And as the very important points, Arvind told that we always miss the basics and we are again coming back to do the same. So basics has to be definitely literature search, as madam said. It is not being taught like including our MBBS or postgraduate career. It has to be like maybe included in the courses as we should recommend while designing the course. This is one comment I would like to make, and it is not only useful for the postgraduates but also useful for all of us who write articles and also serve as reviewers. So definitely wonderful session by Madam Basmati. And all the panelists have given their inputs in such a lovely manner that it almost completed the way we should go for literature search. Thank you, one and all. And you can conclude the session. If
you, I think, thank you. Before we close, I think Mr. Anmol, your time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your time for the video.
Sure, sir, sure.
So it's time to close up. Thank you, madam. It's actually every time we learn something new from you. Today also we learned more from you. So in a very simpler way. Thank you very much. Thank you, our mentor, Dr. Chaitra. And thanks to all the moderators, panelists, and of course all the
Actually,
students.
special thanks to you, sir. Special thanks to you, Sabyasachi sir, Dr. Chaitra, and Dr. Natasha for
Thank you.
deciding to get Vasumati ma'am for the lecture. It was very nice, ma'am.
Thank you.
So on behalf of EIZOC also, I thank everybody for attending and sincerely learning from our programs, because all these programs are very meticulously planned and executed. It takes a lot of time for us to select the speakers who are actually will be of immense help to all of us. So once people are getting benefit out of this program, then only we think encouraged to have this program and continue this program. And next program we'll be having on reference management, how to manage your references. So thank you all for attending, and again I hope that we'll meet again and again during our this ORPI series program. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much. Our next program is on 6th September. Thank you all. Bye.
Coordinating. Thank you.
Good night.
Madam,
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Anmol. Thank you, Anton.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.